everyone, Sarah Wisniak here, and today's video is all about financial aid. We're going to be talking about how to go about applying for it and the different types of aid that there are. Now, if you're planning on applying for financial aid, you're going to have to fill out the FAFSA at some point or another since every single school in the country requires it. The FAFSA stands for the Free Application for Federal Student Aid, and it is completely controlled by the government. That's how the government calculates your EFC after you input all of your custodial parents' information into it. It is free, so it doesn't cost you any money to send it out to other schools, and it comes out January 1st, so you have a lot of time until you actually have to fill that out. The CSS profile is different than the FAFSA. It comes out in October, and you do have to pay for it. It's $25 for one college and $16 for each college report thereafter, which kind of puts some families in a financial burden, but for those who don't possess enough assets or for those whose family income is way too low, the CSS profile automatically pays for, I think, like 11 school reports to be sent out for you, so it takes care of that cost. The CSS profile takes a more in-depth look than the FAFSA does. It takes into account your non-custodial parents' information if your parents are divorced, separated, etc. And it also sometimes asks you different questions. For example, I believe Skidmore wanted to know what the make, model, and year of my car was. Now, the CSS profile and FAFSA are all based on estimated numbers. They're not expecting your family to have done their taxes by October. You can't actually do your taxes by October. And you're certainly not expected to get your taxes done in January, which is why it's better for your family, and that's actually what they have to do. They have to take into account last year's spending and earnings and things like that, and they have to come up with numbers for this year. Now, your parents can take care of that on their own. You, the student, are not expected to take care of that for yourself. That's where your parents have to come into this process. Some parents might not be willing to have you, the student, fill out the FAFSA CSS profile for them. In that case, I believe that they come up with their own PIN and then they fill it out on their own if they don't fill it out with you, because you have to create a PIN for, I believe, both of them. It's okay if you fill out the CSS profile up until the day that it's due for your school, but don't fill out the FAFSA very late. Fill it out as soon as you can in January. That way you don't get caught with no work study if you were going to get it, or less in federal grants and loans if you were supposed to get those. It has happened, and schools do run out of aid. So just be very cautious. I think one of the schools that I applied to ran out of aid the day before I applied for financial aid, or the day I sent in my FAFSA report. And I sent in my FAFSA report on, I believe, January 16th. And they had run out of aid the day before, so I didn't get a work-study position. So the FAFSA doesn't come out until January, and the CSS profile doesn't come out until October. But there are things that you can do before you apply for financial aid in order to see what you may or may not qualify for and to get ready for actually applying. Now, what your parents need to do is they need to get all their tax information ready. But they also need to share with you how much they're willing to pay, if they're willing to pay anything at all, or if they're able to pay anything at all. That'll give you a very good guideline as to what schools you'll actually be able to go to based off of your merit awards and the amount of need you have. The next thing that you have to do is you should probably go, not probably, this is what you have to do because it's the smartest way to go about doing things. Google, insert college names here, net price calculator. Net price calculators are basically how the CSS profile in FAFSA works. It takes into account how much your family can contribute to your college education, and then it subtracts that from the amount of money it costs to go to your college, and that is how much, that's your net price. After your EFC has been taken into account, EFC stands for Estimated Family Contribution. It then shoots out a number and tells you how much they'll be giving you in grants, scholarships, etc., etc. Now, some schools don't take into account on their net price calculators how much money they're going to be giving you in merit aid, and sometimes they lay out exactly what merit aids you will be awarded based off of your statistics. And they have that listed on a totally separate part of their website, so you have to do some exploring at this point. But what's really good about some of the net price calculators is that they are part of the College Board's net price calculator network, program, something like that, and it automatically saves the information for you. Now, some colleges aren't partnered with college boards, so in those cases you're going to have to insert in the information individually. But every single college in the United States has to have a net price calculator on their website. You have the tool, utilize it, it will help you out so much. So now we're going to talk about the different types of aid that there are. And the first thing that we're going to talk about is scholarships the school that you have applied to and gained admission into will give you. Most colleges will notify you at the time of your admission of how much money you're going to be getting. And oftentimes you have to keep a certain GPA in order to keep that scholarship going from year to year. So now we're going to talk about outside scholarships. And outside scholarships are ones that you get from your school that you are graduating from, or the Chamber of Commerce in your town, or Comcast, or some external source than the school that you're going to. They're really a vital resource, and especially if you have a decent gap between, or you know you're going to have a decent gap between your net price and what you can afford, they're a great filler, but that doesn't mean that they're going to come easy to you. You have to do a lot of looking. You have to do a lot of researching. I spent days researching all the scholarships I could apply to. So now we're going to talk about grants. So the Pell Grant is something that is for students who have a significant amount of need. The full Pell Grant for this year, so the 2013-2014 school year, is $5,645, which is $95 more than it was in years past. And the $100 totally, or $95 rather, makes such a big difference, since right now we're literally counting dollar by dollar and everything counts at this point. The Pell Grant is given out on a case-by-case basis. No two situations are alike, which means that you oftentimes will not get the same amount of money as one of your friends who is in the same exact family setting as you are. You don't have to pay your Pell Grant back either, so that's really awesome. And chances are, if you do qualify for a full Pell Grant, half Pell Grant, any Pell Grant, you will also most likely apply for other different types of aid and awards, such as grants, from your state or area, so that's really awesome. Subsidized loans are the first type of loans we're going to be talking about. Subsidized loans are for those who demonstrate significant or any financial need. The government pays interest on your loan up until 6 months after you graduate or drop out. And what else can I say about it? Oh, the first year of college, you're only allowed to take about $3,500 out from that loan, and every year thereafter it goes up. So I think like the second year is like $5,000. You're allowed to take out $5,000 and so on and so forth from there. So now we're going to talk about unsubsidized loans, and the only thing that really differs from subsidized loans is that, well, one, the government does not pay for your interest for the time you're in college. Two, you can only take out $2,000 per year, and I'm pretty sure that goes up every single year also. And three, there's no need requirement. Now, Parent Plus loans are specifically for your parents to take out. You cannot take out a Parent Plus loan. I don't know if you can co-sign it or not. I never had to experience dealing with one, so I'm sorry. I don't know. They're basically able to take out the difference between what you owe and the cost of attendance. So say there's like a $7,000 difference, they're able to take that out. Even if there's a $36,000 difference, they're able to take out that much money through the Parent Plus loan. Now we're going to talk about Perkins loans. Perkins loans are low interest loans. They're not available for every student, mainly students with significant financial need, and not every college is a participant in the Perkins loan program. Only certain ones are, or only up until a certain point are they participants in the program. So I'm pretty sure every school lists whether or not they are part of the program on their website as well, so make sure to check that out if you think you might be qualifying for one of their loans. So the last type of financial aid that the government and school give out are called work-study positions. Now, work-study positions are sponsored by the government. I believe the government pays like half or some percentage of the amount of money you're going to be receiving in your work-study job, and the school pays the other part of it. Not all students are given this. Only students who demonstrate financial need are oftentimes rewarded with it. And again, apply for financial aid early, because that's the first thing that they're going to take away from your package. Just saying. Alright guys, so that is my video about financial aid. I hope you guys found it somewhat helpful. I wish I had someone in the beginning of this process sitting in front of a camera telling me about the different types of financial aid after she had done a ton of research on it. This has been requested on my blog a lot to do before, so I'm happy that I got to finally do this video for all of you. And yeah, go check out the prospects. Really awesome. All this stuff is explained in articles on website in Word form. I can really not talk today. I'm surprised I even got through this whole video. But yeah, so I will see you in another video later on this week. Bye!